Hey everyone, this is Chris.
And Mike.
And Steve.
And you're listening to One Cross Radio. Also, we are recording in a large open room, and Luna is with us, so in case you hear some barking or water drinking, that is why.
Luna's a dog.
just so everyone knows, Luna's a dog.
Just to clarify, Luna is a puppy.
My Aunt Luna's in the background, so if you hear any barking...
Oh boy. And today we are going to be talking about Avengers Infinity War.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
I was about to say,
All
if
of
you
them.
have not seen this movie, don't listen to this. Most of the time it's like, I'll wait a month before I do spoilers, but the heck with that. This movie had like a $640 million opening weekend, which over 3 days is absolutely bonkers. At this point, reviews are going into spoilers, so I'm not going to wait because I can't talk about the movie without spoilers.
Was
It's
it
been a week.
640 internationally?
Internationally, yeah.
Because domestically it was
Domestically,
only
250
257, I think.
Yeah.
Which is
$250 million in 3 days domestically is redonkulous.
still bonkers.
More
like,
than Justice League's entire run in a weekend.
Which, yeah. Oh boy. And I'll be honest, I've tried to do like a non-spoiler review on the website, and I just got like a paragraph in. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I can't talk about this movie without the spoilers, just because of how much it impacts the movie. So, that being said, let's get into this. If y'all are still listening, you've been warned. It's on you. So, gentlemen,
I wash my hands of this.
what did you think of the movie?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was a good movie, man. It was, I want to say solid, but in this case, I don't know if solid is the word. Fast and loose? I don't know. No, it's a good movie. Great movie.
One word that I've heard to describe it is relentless. Like, it comes out swinging in the first scene.
Yeah.
By killing both Loki and Heimdall and half the Asgardians.
Yeah.
And then doesn't really stop after that. Just keeps going.
That's the kind of movie I like. Dark Knight did the same thing. It hit the ground running and didn't stop till the credits came out.
I was about to say, it's the first comic book movie since The Dark Knight that's had that, like, unrelenting roller coaster momentum, where even when it was being slow, it wasn't, like, slow.
Yeah.
It was slowed down, but it was building.
It wasn't Thor Dark World.
No, which I don't hate.
I vaguely remember that movie. Only vaguely. There was an elf, some dark elves, and then they mentioned Infinity Stone in the end.
Yeah, you found out the ether, which, like, did get used, but I think, anyways.
Yeah, I'm still not quite sure how that was the reality stone, but that's beside the point.
Yeah. So Jill and I saw the movie last Saturday. I've seen it less than you guys have, because you've both seen it twice. Mm-hmm. I'm planning on seeing it hopefully either tonight or tomorrow or Sunday again. But where it stands with me after seeing it the first time, I did a post on the website recently where it was I gave my rankings of the then 18 movies, and right now Infinity War sits at my number 3, just because it culminated, it paid off, and it was fan-friggin-tastic.
What are 2 and 1 for you?
Civil War.
Okay.
And
is that 1 or 2?
That's 2.
Okay.
And Winter Soldier is number 1 for me.
Okay.
It's still hard for... Winter Soldier is still the watermark, although for the team-up movies, like, this came pretty close to Civil War. But...
I think it had a better plot, a better villain than Civil War.
It had
Civil War was a lot more fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a really good movie.
This one probably has arguably the best Marvel villain. Like, Thanos was... Yeah, from the movies.
Yeah, I would say Kingpin's probably still better than... Yeah.
And then in the Netflix shows, like... I know you didn't finish Jessica Jones. Kilgrave...
I finished the whole first season.
Okay. Kilgrave is, like, in the running,
he's
if
intense.
not my favorite Netflix villain, as good as Kingpin was.
Yeah. I was saying to Chris before, I'm really not able to rank brand new movies very well. Like, I would say this is probably top 5, but I don't know. Like, I don't know how you compare it to something like Iron Man that I've seen for 10 years. You know.
Yeah.
You have to let it settle.
Yeah. And that, when I did that ranking post, like, it was a bit hard. It was a bit hard where some of them were, except for like Iron Man 3, which for me is the bottom. And then,
have you shared that opinion before? I don't remember hearing that.
No. Well, in the post itself, I was like, I've talked about this numerous times. Yeah. There's nothing else to add. But then 1 and 2 are for the most part set. But upon repeated viewings, like, Infinity War might knock it out just because it had so much good stuff. And even though there was stuff where I thought it was obvious going in who was going to die, how the story was going. And I had 4 deaths predicted. And I'm like, there's going to be a bunch more, but I had 4, and I was only 2 for them. And then virtually everybody else, I was like, holy crap, what?
Half the universe?
I didn't think they were going to... I didn't know if they were actually going to do it. I'm like, okay, there's going to be death on a huge scale. Yeah. But are they actually going to do, like, half the universe, half the population?
That's straight out of the Infinity Gauntlet comic, right?
Number
4, he literally does it. So
yeah.
I thought the deaths would be more in line, not just the snap and disappear, but I thought the deaths would be like straight up Thanos murdering people.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it would be.
Well, I think what they've kind of done is they've cleared the field for the Avengers 4 to be kind of send off of the OG. Because really it's them and Rocket and Nebula and
Nebula.
And I guess if you count War Machine as OG.
Yeah.
And then they're going to bring in Captain Marvel, Ant-Man, and the Wasp, and bring back Hawkeye, who's one of the OG.
Yeah.
But I don't expect some of those originals to make it out of the next movie.
No. So and then with this, like I saw Loki dying, which they made a point of saying like no resurrection this time.
And, Thanos says no resurrection, and then later on Thor actually says I don't think he's coming back this time.
Yeah.
Too. So they're either completely misdirecting us, which I don't think they probably are. Or it's for reals.
But the difficult thing with that is just like, and I've said to you, up until Ragnarok came out, I was like, you know what? I think Hemsworth is gone after this. Like, I think it's going to be Hemsworth and Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. But then Downey Jr. kind of started adding movies to his contract since, and I've been thrilled with it. His performance has only gotten better, and their handling of that character has only gotten so much more interesting.
Grown as a character, right?
Oh, exponentially.
The mentor, kind of neurotic world.
I think they're going to make Stark as kind of a background character.
Yeah.
He'll pop up here and there.
Yeah.
Be like director of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of thing.
Like, Civil War Iron Man is my favorite take on the character. But then, and his performance was phenomenal. And then Infinity War, Tony, was like even further on that, where he was quippy, but he's not like trying to bulldoze or out-quip anybody. Like he's feeling it. He was great. But Ragnarok came out, and it's like, oh wow, we can make a Thor movie that will blow people away and be successful. And from the first two, the only thing that was like people loved was Loki and Thor. So it's like we've got this winning formula.
Yeah.
Are they actually going
like Kat
to?
Dennings a little bit too.
Yeah, but universally, it wasn't like Kat Dennings was getting people to the theater. No offense to Kat Dennings.
I don't think Thor barely got people to the theater in the first couple. But.
No, exactly. So a huge part of Thor's success and in Ragnarok has been Loki. So there's still that back door of like, okay, maybe not in Thor 4 because that's got to be coming. Like, I think Ragnarok's making them rethink, like, okay, let's get Hemsworth back.
Yeah.
And let's get...
And part of the question with that is, where in the heck were Valkyrie, Meek, and Korg, right?
Yeah.
So either they're going to be in the next Avengers movie and they'll address it there, or they're off with the other half of the Asgardians that weren't slain in escape pods or something like that. And they might be in the next Thor movie too.
If Korg's dead, I'm not seeing another movie. Like he's my favorite. That guy, as soon as he came on screen, like this guy's my favorite character ever.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I mean, like, and Meek is very one note, but still quite funny, just coming out swinging with the knives. I do think, like, part of me thinks Loki's gone, at least for a couple movies. It would not surprise me if they somehow figured out a way to bring him back, just because he does have such a connection to the fan base.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the Norse god mythology, it has the Ragnarok and resurrection stories of the gods in it, right?
Yeah.
So that's a possibility. I wanted to ask you, though, because as soon as I saw this, I thought of you. What do you think about Heimdall dying?
You know what? I'm a bit disappointed, but as soon as I saw him on the screen, I was like, he's going.
Oh yeah.
Like as soon as you saw him, it's like, all right, bye Idris. Like I'm gonna miss you, but I didn't see like what more are they gonna do with that character?
Yeah, well, especially now that Thor can summon the Bifrost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, once Heimdall blasted Hulk down to Earth,
Yeah.
like, it's over. He's dead.
Yeah.
Is not gonna
And also on
Yeah.
a practical level, I mean, Idris Elba wasn't a very well-known actor in the first Thor movie, but now he's huge, right?
Yeah.
He's got these tiny little parts in the movies. It's kind of not worth it for him anymore.
And selfishly, I'm like, okay, now he's free for DC to cast him as Jon Stewart for Green Lantern. So I want that. Give me that, and then I'll be like, all right, cool.
Or John Jones. I think he'd make a good...
Oh my gosh, yeah. But what wouldn't Idris Elba be good as? Like, I'll be honest, if
Harley Quinn. Terrible Harley
I'd
Quinn.
watch it.
Sort of like teen comedy. So even then, he'd probably nail it.
Exactly, and you're like Harley Quinn. I'm like, you know what?
Jack Black can play a teenager well, I'm sure.
Messed up as it be, color me intrigued for Idris Elba as Harley Quinn. I'm in.
Anyway.
Yeah,
Mr.
but
J.
I didn't see Gamora going. Like that caught me completely off guard.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
I thought Tony and Cap would both go, and they kind of teased it in the movie, and then they didn't do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, getting ahead of ourselves though, like I thought that the first, there's the opening scene on the Sanctuary 2, which is the ship that the Asgardians are on, which is a callback to the comics. That's actually the ship that Thanos flies around, the Sanctuary ship. Right. And they send down the Hulk into the Sanctum Sanctorum of Doctor Strange. In the, I don't know if have you guys read the Infinity Gauntlet comics?
I think I did a few years ago. Well, not all of them. No.
So I read
Silver Surfer
like
goes down originally.
all the original old Thanos comics just leading up to this because I wanted to prep, do my research. And so like that, the Silver Surfer actually crashes in just like that in the comic, right? So they did a bunch of stuff like that, and it was I really liked that first fight scene, kind of setting up the stakes with Wong and Iron Man and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange with the Ebony Maw. And what's the big guy's name? Is that Corvus Glaive? That's the other dude.
Colobsidian.
Oh,
he
right,
was
right.
Black Dwarf in the comics.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't really. They only ever say their names. They say Ebony
They
say
Maw
Maw.
once. He's like, so Maw's dead, and like,
Yeah,
if you don't know who that is, like, you don't know who that is. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I love just the way that they were able to show the high stakes and then still make it quippy and humorous. Like, there's that one part in there where Spider-Man shows up, and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Dark, what's going on?" And Tony's like, "These guys are from outer space. They're here to steal a necklace from a wizard."
Yeah.
You know, just like able to kind of show. As high stakes and dire as this movie is, it's completely ridiculous.
It's absurd. Yeah. One thing just before that though, I loved the callback where it's like Loki's like, we have a Hulk. And then I thought going in, I'm like, you're going to have Hulk and Thanos throw down.
Yeah.
And
right
then
at the beginning too.
And that was a great way to establish Thanos is like the big bad.
And that sets up the reason like that Hulk doesn't want to come out for the rest of the movie, right? He's actually scared because he got the crap beat out of him.
He got like Hulk just is pummeling Thanos, and Thanos is just like taking it.
Yeah.
And then when he stops him, you're like, we haven't seen this. I remember people in the theater being like, what?
Yeah, he had the power gem, right? So that helps.
Yeah.
I think he was using it though, because when he uses the stone, it glows, and I don't think it was glowing.
That might be true.
It was just pure Thanos beating up the Hulk.
Like Thanos was like threw down. You hadn't seen Hulk take a butt whooping like that. Like in the movies, they've shown him and Thor when they've squared off being at an even fight, but then Hulk having the upper hand.
He took it pretty hard until Betty was being threatened in the original Incredible Hulk movie when Abomination is fighting him.
Yeah.
So he managed to find the inner strength to protect Betty or whatever. But since then I don't think there's been anything like that.
No, and then in this it was just like Hulk spin almost the trump card, and then your trump card got wrecked in the top of the first act, or no, the bottom of the first act, if I'm using the words correctly.
I don't know where the act breaks were.
Yeah, no. It was all the third act.
Well, I mean, in some sense, it's true, right? This is very much part 19 of one story.
Yeah. It was like a cliffhanger season finale.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so then we got to Earth, and I loved the treatment of Spider-Man, and then you know what? I loved Tom Holland in this movie.
Yeah.
His acting was His acting was great, and I know except for
it's a highlight, I think, in terms of the acting. Like the two scenes where he gets knighted into the Avengers and he's trying to look serious, but he's so excited.
Yeah,
and then the part where he's dying at the end.
Yeah. Oh man,
such good acting scenes.
Oh man, yeah, we're talking about that.
Heart is in my throat.
Yeah, like. Okay, when we get to the deaths, we gotta. That in particular was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then his character's treatment. I know, except for a nitpick that we talked about. Like his treatment was awesome, where it's just like there's this thing from space, and it's a very Spider-Man thing of I gotta go help people.
Yeah.
Like, and he just leaves. But I love that when Bruce is there, he's talking to Tony. I loved the continued tensions from. Civil War, where he's like, the Avengers are gone. Yeah. We're done.
Like the Beatles?
And then you get that joke, like the band. Yeah. But then he's like, look, you gotta swallow your ego and you gotta call him. Like, this is a big deal. Yeah.
Somebody pointed out how it was such an old man thing of Captain America or Steve to have they use the flip phone.
Yeah.
Have in the phone the only entry is Steve Rogers. It's such an old man thing to do.
Yeah, he's still figuring out technology.
Yeah. So
I mean the one nitpick which we don't have to spend a lot of time on this was that Spider-Man basically comes up with a plan to murder the Ebony Maw, which maybe the situation warranted it, but that's not super Spider-Man-y. The other problem with that is that somehow his mechanical arms and webbing withstood the vacuum of space, and also Iron Man had some kind of adhesive spray in his suit that could stop the breach. But these are all really silly little
those
tiny
are silly
things.
Like, why did you strike the xylophone and play the same key twice in The Simpsons? You know that one? Skeleton xylophone.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah,
I just love that moment where we went from a nitpick to a deep cut Simpsons reference.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
In episode whatever it was, Scratchy hit the same rib twice, yet produced two different tones.
Yes, this stuff happens. Was there anything you didn't like about this movie?
It was like it wasn't 5 hours long. That was that was what I was pulling for, a 5-hour Infinity War.
Oh man, I look forward to the fan edit once Avengers 4, whatever it's called.
Forever.
Like, I look forward to that fan edit where it's just like, let's just splice this together. I think someone did a Kill Bill cut like that.
Oh, there's a few of them.
Where they combine the two movies, which I haven't sat down and watched, but if they do that with this, I will watch that in a heartbeat.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tarantino's been teasing that for years, but anyway, that's another story. That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
The one thing I didn't like about it was Star-Lord. I found him a little over the top.
He ruined everything.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Twice, too.
But as I was watching it, I think that was something that was established with the character through Guardians 1 and 2. Yeah, he does let his emotions dictate and get the best of him.
He's a little kid, right? He's kind of emotionally stunted.
Yeah, and I mean, when you've been in a spaceship where a blue guy is getting people not to eat you, you're not going to be the most well-developed.
I didn't even mean his character. I just his stupid jokes. Over the top. I mean, I don't love, especially Guardians 2 anyway.
Yeah.
So I just found I was kind of I liked Rocket and Gamora and Groot, with the teenager, and I love Drax. I can move so slowly. You can't those jokes all landed for me. But Star-Lord is just I don't know, except for the part where he's
trying to imitate,
drops backwards into the portal or whatever. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And the quip between him and Spider-Man about Footloose was funny.
Yeah.
But just in general, I found him
annoying. I did love him trying to suddenly be like Thor, where he's like, I need to talk like this because it's friggin' Thor. Yeah, and I did love Thor's.
It's like a pirate and an angel had a baby.
You're a dude. He's a man.
Yeah. And you know what? Drax was one of my favorite takes on Drax. I love Drax in Guardians 1. Yeah. But then Guardians 2 Drax was just way too over the top, where everything's hilarious and suddenly my nipples and all this stuff about sex organs and stuff.
Yeah.
Where
except I really enjoyed his interplay with Mantis in number 2, where he keeps calling her ugly and you're beautiful on the inside. I actually, that was probably my favorite running gag in that movie.
Yeah. And you know what? I loved Mantis's treatment in this movie because I'm like, how the heck is I'm interested in the Mantis character. They haven't gotten to. I think in the comics she has power blasts or whatever, but they didn't.
She's quite different in the comics.
They haven't touched on that there, but I was really curious to see how they would use her in this movie because I'm like, she's interesting, but what are they going to do? Yeah. And then how they used her in the fight with Thanos was friggin' brilliant.
Mm-hmm. I would love to see the pay sheet for this movie on how much like Mantis Palm got paid for her little bit, or like the guy who plays Ned, who was in it for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, how much did he get paid for that? Because it's a huge movie, but I don't know. Anyway,
while we're talking about things we didn't like, I'll be honest. I just don't queer. Sorry, it's because I was thinking of her name. I just don't care much for Gwyneth Paltrow. So when she was there, I was like, okay, I guess she's here.
Well, and again, she was in the movie for like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
and disappeared.
She was a plot point for Tony, right? Like that's all she was.
Yeah,
and same in the first Avengers movie. She was there for like 5 minutes. And then disappeared, and then showed up like on the plane in the end making a scared face and then disappeared.
Yeah. I was just like, I know they brought her back for Spider-Man Homecoming, and I'm just kind of like, I'm not quite sure why. Are you trying to wrap up Tony's story so he's not involved, but we know he's coming back for Infinity War, and I was just quite satisfied when they wrote her out in Civil War, where it's like, we're broken up. I'm like, awesome. Let's keep that going for a while, because it adds a facet to his character.
Well, all the love interests basically get written out every once in a while, right? Like, where's Betty Brant? You know, Natalie Portman's character.
Yeah,
Jane Foster's gone. You know,
like, and I don't think she'll come back unless they do Jane Foster Thor, which I haven't read the Jane Foster Thor comics, but you have, and you've said they've been really solid. And I've heard great things about that run.
The idea there is that she's dying of cancer, but she's worthy of lifting Thor's hammer. And every time she lifts Thor's hammer, it burns all the radiation treatment out of her so that she keeps going back to square one with her cancer, so she can either choose to try and save herself or continue being Thor. So it's kind of an interesting concept. Yeah. Anyway.
I'd be interested in that, and Natalie Portman would knock it out of the park. But
she wouldn't want to do it.
No. Unless
it's so done.
Unless it was like, I get my director and it's... Like, anyways, part of it,
off track. Let's go.
Sorry,
there was an Infinity War we need to
yes. Anything, what was a highlight for you? Like, what was something that really stood out? Or would that be, like, the movie?
Thanos' character, I thought, was really well done.
Thanos was great. It was his movie.
Yeah.
I mean, and he has, like, a hero's arc in the movie, right? Like, you know, overcoming his self-doubt and winning and having the satisfying ending for him, like...
Yeah. From his point of view, he's the good guy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You just look at it differently.
Like,
Thanos did nothing wrong.
No, they developed his villain so well, and that you could understand his perspective, even though you're like, no, this is friggin' genocide.
Well, and the way they changed his character from being just homicidal to having a reason to kill.
Yeah.
That adds a lot of depth to it, which is really good.
Well, in the comics too. So I mean, he's starts off as just a nihilist who hates people, and then he worships death and loves death, like literally the physical embodiment of death.
Right.
But also in the midst of that, they do talk about his reasoning a little bit. There's leading up to the Infinity Gauntlet. There's a run of Silver Surfer issues where he comes back because he'd been turned into stone by Adam Warlock, and the second time he was around. Anyway, whatever. He comes back and he talks about his reasonings for why death is better, and how he talks many of those same things about life being left unchecked leads to suffering, and death is important. So I mean, they did pull that, but they kind of left out the fantastical stuff about him, literally wanting to be the husband of death or whatever, and kind of just focused in on that part, which I thought was effective for the movie a lot.
I was really wondering, like, if they were going to go with that love of, like, being in love with death, because with Ragnarok you had Hela, who's like, I'm the goddess of death. I'm like, there's your in. And then when she didn't show up at all, at first I was wondering, am I going to be disappointed by this? But no, I loved that they came up with a way to have this character even without that big facet of the character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had good motivations.
Yeah.
We're talking about favorite moments.
Yeah.
That's the topic of this section. My jaw dropper was when Red Skull showed up.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, yes.
Because for years I've been saying he's not
Me
dead.
too,
He just
yeah.
got teleported.
Yeah.
He's the space stone.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, no, he's dead. He disintegrated. Damn. But no, he's
Which-
there he was.
And when they
He had a
showed
job, too.
what they showed with the Tesseract, like in Avengers, that it's a transport more or less, like it's the space stone.
It's a space stone.
Then I'm like, okay, no, he's not dead.
That was immensely satisfying.
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he looked like death at first, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But then you when you hear the
That's
voice
true.
and the accent, like Jill and I looked over at each other and we're like, yes.
And apparently it's some guy who's just really good at impressions, doing a Hugo Weaving impression.
Yeah, it's Aaron from Walking Dead, if you know him from the more recent ones.
Oh, I stopped watching Walking Dead after
I have this past season to PVR, and I just can't bring myself to watch it because it's so dull.
I hopped out at the after the first episode of season 5 because it was everybody got reunited. I'm like, this is the single happiest ending you will ever get on this show. Yeah. It is all heartbreak and repetition from here, so I'm good.
It is repetition.
Yeah.
Another really great kind of tidbit that I liked from it was Peter Dinklage as a big dwarf this time. I thought that was awesome.
Like, oh, he's a dwarf, but he's super tall.
So
I did for references, I did like the Stormbreaker bit. Like I
knew you'd like that. Yeah.
I am not desperate, but I so badly want Beta Ray Bill to show up in the Marvel movies, especially if they do a Thor 4.
Well, his face was on the side of the tower in Ragnarok, right?
Yeah. Or they could, like, the thing is, they could be like, it was a Corbinite,
That's
like
true,
his
yeah, one of his
species, and
species.
not Beta Ray Bill himself. Because there was also in Guardians of the Galaxy, like, what looked like a Corbinite in
really?
the Collector's
Yeah.
containers.
Speaking of which, did you notice Tobias never nude in the?
I didn't, but I heard about it after.
And I saw the clip online. Somebody
Yeah.
pointed it out. And then when I saw it my second time, saw the movie Infinity War the second time, I looked for him, but I just missed it.
I couldn't see him, but I've seen the still frame of it. or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not actually David Cross, but
Yeah.
Which
still.
Screen Junkies did when they did their spoiler review. They're just like, I like Thanos all the more because in his alternate reality, there is a character from Arrested Development that Thanos has seen and enjoyed. Arrested Development
Because the Russos
makes me
have-
like him more.
Russos have done.
I think they directed.
Arrested
Yeah.
Development.
Because there was the car with the steps in the
Yeah.
airport scene was in there too, and then obviously there was the Community references. And,
Yeah, they directed the some of the paintball episodes, and I think they also wrote some of
probably.
Community as well. Yeah, I love the Stormbreaker reference. That part was cool.
Yeah, although it was the hammer itself was actually the one from Ultimate.
Yeah,
Ultimate Universe.
It's an axe.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many actual highlights just because there's not much I didn't like about the movie.
I liked when Scarlet Witch came down in Wakanda and like just picks up those huge wheel things and smashes them, and then I have no idea what her name is. The
Kei, or is that
leader of the female guard or whatever.
Yeah.
Wakanda was like, why has she been up there this whole time?
Yeah.
That was pretty great.
And before that, Cap and Panther doing their superhero run.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, because they'd be the fastest.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The other thing I will say, like, I saw, just because I mentioned earlier who I thought was dying, I called Vision dying just because with him having the Mind Stone, I'm like, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
But I did love his and the evolution of his and Scarlet Witch's relationship, which I'm like, after this movie, what are they going to do with Vision? So I'm not sure if he's coming back, but
I think he's going to come back because Shuri downloaded him to her.
So in the comics,
Yeah.
after Scarlet Witch and Vision get married, this is like in the 80s or 70s or something like that, he loses his emotions as part of his personality and turns blank white instead of multicolor. And he comes back and they're married, but he has no emotion. So it makes it a really complicated relationship. So I figured because they've taken the Mind Stone out of him and he's turned gray, that they'll bring him back, but he'll be missing either his emotions or part of his personality, and that'll complicate their relationship.
Right. I was part of me wouldn't be surprised if he's dead for good, because unless we're getting the amazing premise of a Scarlet Witch Vision rom-com spin-off.
Wait, I can explain.
Credit to
there's some writing in the rain. And...
Credit to all the Screen Junkie shout-outs, but credit to them for coming up with that premise where I'm like, I would watch that movie in a heartbeat. Like, I just don't know what more mileage there is out of Vision. Like, you're not going to do a Vision solo movie.
No.
His character, I don't know how much more there is to him. Like, Paul Bentley's performance is great, but yeah, that one was a nice highlight, and I liked actually seeing a romance in the movie, because so much in these movies, it's like the loves either they never actually get together or they're written out of the movies. But you got Gamora with Star-Lord, which was a nice follow-up, and then Vision with Scarlet Witch, where I'm like, okay, no, I actually like this romance. This is nice.
And I like they didn't kind of address, like, it's weird. We're just going to kind of skip over all that and just be like, yep, they're in a relationship.
I thought it was weird.
Yeah.
And because he's a robot. He's an android. Whatever he is. Yeah. And then they're just suddenly, like, in what was it, in Civil War when they established that relationship? They were just kind of, like, flirting. Same with Banner and Widow. Yeah. So they're just kind of, okay, something's going on there.
I'm not going to lie, though. I loved how out of left field that was in Age of Ultron. Like, I know some people were like, this is ridiculous. Where I'm like, you know what? I'm in for it. Like, it's friggin' weird, but color me intrigued.
Well, and it led to the really funny scenes in Ragnarok where Thor's trying to calm Hulk down. And sun's getting real low, buddy.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Stop saying that.
Yeah. And then I wanted kind of more of an address in Infinity War, but then where it's just like, this is awkward. Well, it wouldn't be the movie to unpack that more.
It was good that when they were doing the romantic scenes, he looked like Paul Bettany and not the Vision. Like, kind of took away some of that weirdness, I think.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, so the climax of this movie, which the whole movie was the climax, but let's narrow it down to, I'd say, the last, like, 45 minutes. After he's gotten the Soul Stone, and he's gone and Thanos is going to Titan, and there's the Battle of Wakanda.
Even just that scene where he gets the Soul Stone and he sacrifices Gamora was such an emotional scene. Right, where like you do realize, and you see the flashback to him getting her. He's not a heartless beast, right? He does care about her.
No, and I loved the slow realization for Gamora when she was like, "Oh, he's not going to get this because he doesn't love anyone," and then it's like, "No, he loves me. No, this can't be. Your love is weird. Your love is like this isn't love." And then he still does it,
which I think is a fair,
fair
statement.
It's a very fair statement, but it's just like that he did that.
Okay. Now we go on with your thing.
Yeah, I loved the fight on Titan. One of the things with this movie, like, of course, I would have loved to see everyone in the Wakandan battle, but I think with the sheer size of it, you had to have this split up. Mm-hmm. But then also looking at the movie with how it builds up, like, it gets increasingly bleak. Like, when the start of the movie is, you're like, okay, but it's the Avengers. Like
they're gonna win.
There's potential for them gonna win. Like if you've read the comics or whatever, you know this is setting up Avengers 4, but you're like, okay, no, they're not gonna win, but you don't know how badly they're gonna lose.
Yeah.
So then the fight on Titan was just so good, where Thanos comes out swinging, and then they briefly capture him, but you're like, okay, something's gonna happen, and then it's Quill. Who blows it.
Well, I just love, like, and then they continue with the dire and high stakes, putting in these jokes and quips of, like, Spider-Man, like, more magic with a kick.
Yeah.
And then Tony Stark, like, you pull another moon down on me, I'm going to lose it on you.
And then, like, I love the little bits where it's Doctor Strange creating things for Quill to jump on, and then the portals for everybody. But then also when Thanos, like, regains the glove and then just everybody's wiped out within like 30 seconds and he pulls down a moon. But then you get Doctor Strange, who really shines in that fight with Thanos. Like
he used the Crimson Bands of Sidorak. I was so excited about that.
That's the nerdiest thing you will ever hear on a podcast.
And that's saying something.
And then like the fight with Thanos and Doctor Strange, where I'm like, friggin' yes. It was just like so cinematic.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. But then after he stabs Stark, as soon as Thanos gets the Time Stone, you're like, this is done.
Yeah,
the Avengers, they're not winning. This is a done deal.
Yeah, and I think so. One of the other little nitpick I have the movie, and this is sort of endemic to the medium, is that you know kind of what's going to happen. Like obviously they didn't actually lose, and it's clear from Doctor Strange's the things that he says that he has a plan that involves Thanos winning it. But even like the whole part where like they kind of drew out her Scarlet Witch trying to destroy the Mind Stone on. He's like. He's got the time stone. That's not going to matter. She's going to get it done.
Exactly.
But they don't know that.
Yeah, but I did.
We knew that.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet, I still I love that. Where I've seen some of the criticism be like, "Well, these characters are going to come back. It's somewhat hollow." I'm gonna I straight up disagree. Where yes, I know that some of these characters are coming back, but there was still that emotional impact of like
they sold it.
They sold it so well.
The second time I came out of the theaters, there's this guy who I think I must have gone to see it by himself, and he was like sitting there, kind of like looking down, and he's like, "Did you guys understand any of that?" And my friend pointed at me, and was like, "He definitely did." So he's like, "They killed everybody," and I was like, "Listen, Black Panther made way too much movie for him to be dead. And
way too much movie,
way too much
movie and money.
And Spider-Man's got a movie coming out next July, so don't worry, they're coming back. But like, if you don't know that, you totally sell it, and I think. You kind of have to put aside for the fact I know how this franchise thing's working. That's part of being a comic book fan too, right? But tonally, acting wise, story wise, it was really well done. Yeah.
And then before we get into the deaths part, because I think that is the apex of this movie, when you got the Battle of Wakanda as they're fighting on Titan, like when Thanos is what's the group called? I keep forgetting what they're called.
Order?
The Black Cauldron. Order.
The Black Cauldron.
The Black Cauldron.
You got a little pig.
Like, the Black Order. Like when they're like, we have blood to spare, and it's just those mindless forearm things.
Yeah,
they might be my favorite. The Marauders. They might be my favorite. Like faceless army.
Die, space dog.
Like they might be my favorite faceless army just because they are so mindless. And running in, killing themselves to get through the thing.
Yeah,
they were like
I am in
xenomorph aliens.
Yeah. I am in because they're just when they're like, holy cow, they're killing themselves just to get through. That's where it even raised the stakes a little bit more from the Chitauri or Ultron's people, where it's like. These things are just have one goal in mind instinctually, and that's it.
But I really liked that they tied into the first Avengers movie when they showed Gamora's planet of the space whales, and you kind of realize like that actually was Thanos coming to wipe out half of Earth's population. Like at that point, So they kind of I like the way they tied back to that. But yeah, I agree that they were more intense than the Chitauri.
So then we got as soon as Thanos got the Time Stone. Like, it was a done deal.
Yeah.
And then I actually loved that they drew out the battle of them trying to protect Vision, and then it's like, Wanda, you have to kill me. And then she does it, and then Thanos just redoes it, and then he just completely rips it out. Yeah. And not even just pulls the stone out, like, he
takes the forehead.
He pulls out, like, his Vision's forehead and, like, brain, his CPU, like his CPU. So when he drops Gray, he's got like this deep hole in his head, and you're like, that was intense.
He ain't coming back.
And then as you're like, okay, this is done. He's got them all. But then you're not sure. There's that little bit of wiggle room of you're not sure if Thanos is going to snap his fingers. Yeah. Like, we're going to do something where Thanos is going to have victory, but he might just peace out. And then Thor shows up swinging Stormbreaker.
Well, that's my other little nitpick with this is they're always like trying to hit him in the head or they chops him in the chest. Like, cut his freaking arm off, guys. Cut off the gauntlet.
Well, anyway, I love that he was like, when Thor jumped in and went for him, he's like, you should have gone for the head.
Yeah.
And then he snaps his fingers. Because I was still like, are they going to do this?
Yeah.
Are they actually going to do this? Or are they going to figure out a way where they kill key characters and then it's the... Whoa, that was weird.
That was Luna.
We'll go with that. Where it's, are they going to kill key characters like Cap, like Tony, although they've wiggle room Tony alive at this point? Like, are they going to kill people and then have him go to regroup for a second? But no, they friggin' did it.
Yeah.
And then the body started
Well, and
disintegrating.
The gauntlet was smashed up after he did it too.
Well,
It was fried.
It was fried, but I think the gems were still glowing.
For sure.
So
But
it's
it was
like
too much
this could
power at once or something.
Yeah, and then
have you ever tried snapping wearing gloves? That's got to be hard.
so
if you have the Infinity Gauntlet.
Then we get to, for me, what
snap
was the absolute the snaps, the highlight of the movie, where like Bucky dying first, and then him just being like Steve, and then just going like Bucky still has so much upward momentum for me as a character because he's had a really long journey in the movies where I'm like, no, and the fan base has like such a connection to Bucky that people were like legit gasped in the theater. But starting with him, phasing through all these characters where Panther going, Strange going, like Falcon going.
And I appreciate that they did each one a little bit differently. Like nobody even saw Falcon go, right?
Yeah.
And,
well, it was just sudden there, and he was fading. He didn't even get a last word.
Yeah. And I thought, as much as I didn't like Star-Lord in it, his just like, oh man, was really good too.
Yeah. And then when I know the one criticism I've heard is like Spider-Man's was a little more drawn out, but for the performance you got out of that, which kudos, like so much kudos to Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr. Like it was an ad-libbed performance.
And in defense of the long drawn out, Spider-Man has spider sense.
He knew
right. So he knew it was coming, and he could feel thousands of voices crying out in terror and being suddenly silenced.
Yes.
Whatever.
What movie were you?
Because Spider-Man's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like his sudden thing of like just where it's like Mr. Stark and then the turn. Like people in the theater, and I've seen some clips online where it was like someone recorded audience reactions. Like people yelled out like, "Oh!" Like that one caught people so off guard. And my respect for the movie went up so much where I'm like, okay, I know this character is coming back, but the fact that you had the guts to kill not only Spider-Man, but friggin' 15-year-old kid Spider-Man, that's dark. That is messed up. And this movie ended on such a bleak note where Thanos got his hero moment of sitting in front of the sunrise as this... Not even ominous, but just so depressed, sad music played, and that's what we got into the credits.
And going back to Spider-Man for a second, like I'm a huge Spider-Man fan.
Yeah.
I thought that they did such a good job, and Tom Holland did such a good job of showing the like, especially in this as a teenager amongst adults, and a really bleak thing of being a kid, right? Like he's crying and afraid of dying, and then he like, oh yeah, I'm a hero, and kind of like tries to pull it together at the end, and like. You know, like, oh man, I failed you. You know, like, it was just the dimension, I think, of the acting in that, and in the scene where they knight him into the Avengers, which is so good. I just appreciated that so much.
For me, it reminded me a little bit of the 10th Doctor in Doctor Who when he left.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of memes like that.
Where he was like, that Doctor's final words before regeneration, every other Doctor was like, all right, this is happening, but his was like, it's not like, I'm going, but... Like, yes, the Doctor lives, but it's like this personality, this aspect of my life dies. So he did not, like, his last words were like, I don't want to go. And he was emotional.
Just like Spider-Man.
And it kicks you in the heart. So then when I saw that, I was like, oh, man. Like, it just, I don't believe it was intentional unless Tom Holland's like, yeah, I was going for a reference because I'm British and I love Doctor Who. Like, it was a little bit of that where I'm like, oh my gosh. Like... It was heartbreaking to end with that one. And now I'm wondering how Tony's going to get off Titan because isn't he the only one left on Titan?
With Nebula.
Oh yeah, with Nebula.
But she literally crashed her ship into Thanos, I think, when she came in, didn't she? So there might be another ship on there somewhere. But
yeah, I'm wondering how we're going to get Tony off of there. So yeah, I think this movie, even though yes, it sets up Avengers 4, which will be the ending, I think this one like delivered and then some, coming off of an unprecedented 18 film build-up, and it did callbacks to Phase 1 back in 2008, which kudos to Marvel. I gotta give them credit, like to build up 18 films. We're getting a 20th in what, like a month or 2 months time. over 10 years is unheard of. That they still make millions and millions and billions of dollars is a credit.
Well, they're almost catching up to James Bond that's been going since the 60s, right? Like,
but Bond's been going since the 60s.
I thought I just said that.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm sorry.
Bond's been going since the 60s?
No, I know, and I know you just said it, but it was like in my head, I'm like
1960s.
Well, I'm deservedly eating crow for that. It's nuts. And Ant-Man and Wasp, I'm pretty sure it takes place before this.
Yeah, I wonder if there's going to be an after credit scene or something like that where his daughter dissolves, and that's what's going to bring him into the next movie.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, which I think they'll with the tone of the Ant-Man movies, and it's one of the things I like about them so much. They're lighter, they're smaller scale, and they're kind of that heist thing. You can't do a movie where you can't do that tone and a part where suddenly half the world has disintegrated in front of you. Or they'll just
get his Hispanic friend telling him that it's disintegrated. Yo, I was with this person and he
disappeared.
Which I hope at some point as a DVD extra they have him telling the story of
the entire 10-year story.
The 10-year story, because that'd be great. But
with cuts to the characters speaking with his voice.
Yeah. But with the tone of that, I know a lot of people wanted that.
Yeah.
And it would have been fun, but with the tone of this movie, which it was bleak.
Absolutely.
I will say it was bleak. I didn't know if Marvel could. Dang it! Phone notifications. I didn't know if they'd be able to really pull it off, but they did it in spades. I'm excited for Avengers 4.
What about the after credit scene?
You know what? I enjoyed it. I didn't know what the after credit scene was going to be.
Me neither.
But having it be Maria and Nick Fury was cool. And then as it a way to lead into Captain Marvel without showing Captain Marvel.
I thought it was leading into Left Behind the movie.
And then, of course, Nick Fury's last words being like, "Mother." Yeah. I'm like, that's just such a Sam Jackson thing.
Yeah.
And I like that the thing he used to call Captain Marvel as a pager.
Yeah.
So 90s.
Yeah. Because with
pager that can do her symbol.
Yeah. An advanced pager.
Just because with people who don't know, Captain Marvel's movie takes place in the 90s, which I'm pretty excited for all the Nirvana, possibly Wu-Tang and NWA references, just because the Netflix Netflix shows have worked in Wu-Tang Clan because of because of Luke Cage and Defenders, so cool. I'm looking forward to Terrible Fashion and but I think she's in space, so then that's why we
don't know where she is. She hasn't been called for 10 years or 20 years. How long is the 90s?
Almost 30.
30 years.
Oh my gosh. I watched Jurassic Park at work the other night, and that movie is over 25 years old.
My sister said to me...
Or it is 25 years old.
My sister was saying to me the other day, do you realize that the 90s for kids today is like the 70s was for us?
Oh, man.
Isn't that depressing? Anyway.
Yes.
So let's do predictions. Predictions for what's coming in Avengers 4.
All right, let's talk about that. Mike.
I'm still hung up on that 90s thing. Predictions for Avengers 4?
Avengers Forever.
Well, what do you think it's going to be called? Let's do that first.
Well, I would like Avengers Assemble, but that was the name of Avengers 1 in the UK, so they can't do that.
I think Avengers Disassembled might be what it is.
I don't know if I like that.
Doesn't matter if you like it. That might be what it is.
Thanos' day off.
I'm actually thinking Avengers Crisis on Infinite Chris's, because there's a lot of Chris's.
Infinite Chris's.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it would be disassembled. It might be. We've had Infinity War, so I think it's going to be Infinity something.
They've said it's not Infinity Gauntlet, and they've said it's not Infinity War Part 2. My other actual legitimate guess is if it's not Disassembled, is that it might be New Avengers.
Which I'm wondering if the 5th Avengers is going to be that.
Yeah, I think that would be it. Once all the main ones, or the original ones, die off or disappear or go their own way.
And that's the thing where Civil War, it was under the Captain America thing, but I'm like, you could have gone with Marvel Civil War, and just like with this, it could have been
Avengers Civil War.
It could have been Marvel like Marvel Infinity War, or could it just been Infinity War because Guardians aren't part of the Avengers and all that nitpicking. So I'm like, I don't know fully what the title's going to be. I'm not sure if it's going to be disassembled because I feel like they could save that for an actual like beyond Civil War infighting, like we're done kind of thing. But I think I'm not sure. I just don't know. I think it's going to involve Infinity something. Like they've said it's not going to be Gauntlet, but because it will be an absolutely like true sequel second part to this, I doubt it's going to have another thing unless it's Thanos' day off.
Tokyo Drift.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Avengers 4, Tokyo Drift.
Avengers 4, Tokyo
Thanos
Drift.
Drift.
Infinity Drift.
Infinity Drift. What do you think is going to be? What do you think is going to happen?
So, Captain Marvel's going to come in unquestionably.
Yep.
I think they're going to do stuff where we're going to find out which characters aren't necessarily dead, unless they're possibly in the Soul Stone, or because I think there's going to almost need to be a bargain, like to
Dormammu?
with Dormammu, like to change.
Mephisto, they're going to erase their marriage.
Like to change where characters are, just because you're not going to come out of this with everybody still there. Mm-hmm. Like as much as I love Chris Evans' take on Cap, I think he's gone.
He's gone. He's
like
gone.
I think he's going to leave. I know. I don't want him to
because
go.
they're going to either have Bucky or Falcon as the new Captain America. That's likely going to happen.
So I think there's going to need to be a thing where some of the Phase 1 characters are like, no, we're gone. Like, part of me still thinks the biggest impact would be if it is Tony Stark, because he has been around since the beginning of this. But I love the idea of Downey Jr. like working around in the background. It also depends on his interest in it.
I feel like he's going to retire as Iron Man, and Rhodey might take up the Iron Man role. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm just not sure if I like Don Cheadle. I love all the little bits of War Machine where he actually gets to be War Machine. So then in that Civil War fight where, especially when Ant-Man's Giant Man and he's swinging the truck and then War Machine has all the guns. Yeah. And then in the Wakandan battle where he's just flying around making all the explosions where I'm like...
He should have gone outside of the shield and put those explosions out there rather than killing the few that came in. But anyway.
But I still love War Machine. So, but I'm just not sure if people will go to a War Machine Iron Man movie.
Well, I just mean in the Avengers movies he might show up. I don't think they're going to do any more Iron Man movies without Tony Stark.
No, unless they come up with a way where it's like Shuri becomes Iron Man, because they did the Riri Williams run in the comics, which not a lot of people like, but a lot of people like Shuri. Or
I thought you said Siri.
Hey Siri, be Iron Man.
Basically, if he wasn't in the suit, that would be what it is.
So I think a number of the OG characters going. It wouldn't surprise me if Hawkeye goes, as much as I like him.
I hope not.
He's got a family.
I know, but they could do a thing where Hawkeye's family gets disintegrated.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like that's going to bring Ant-Man the Wasp and Hawkeye in the next movie is the fact that their families are gone.
Yeah. But I mean, like,
just bored,
as much as I,
set up the fact that they're not there because of their families, right? So,
as much as I love Hawkeye, unless they do like a secret Avengers thing, or they he's a character that they could work into the Netflix shows. Unless they do that with him, I'm not sure what else they're going to do with his character.
I think that they've said, or I've seen a picture of him coming in as Ronin.
Yeah.
Who he is in the comics for a little bit, as like, because he dies in the comics and then comes back to life through the whole House of M thing, and then he comes back not as himself, but as like a darker ninja version, and he's like like he just is feeling dark and ninja-ish, and so he comes back as Ronin. So they might do that. I don't know. Ant-Man, I think, is obviously going to stick around. Spider-Man and Black Panther are going to be around.
Yeah. I think Thor's going to stay around.
Doctor Strange.
Absolutely. Especially after this movie. Like, I think this one got a lot more people into Doctor Strange. Where I dig his first movie a lot. I mean, yes, it's Magic Iron Man, but the visuals in the movie are Inception on LSD, which was Doctor Strange in his original comics. Like, I'm pretty sure Kirby admitted later to being like, I wrote this and I was on stuff.
Kirby didn't do it. It was
bad.
Steve Ditko.
And
I'm very sure that he didn't do drugs because of his personality and stuff. He just has a crazy imagination.
Oh, okay.
But
I thought I read an article, but I'm probably wrong.
Kirby did other stuff that was also crazy, but Ditko was the Doctor Strange guy. But
In my
so
face.
I think that
In your face.
Yeah.
In my face.
you just got nerded.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that Gamora is coming back. And that she's not dead. She's in the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
Because then they see her as a kid in that orange world after he snaps his fingers. I mean, that's the whole thing of the Soul Stone in the comics, is that it sucks people's souls into it, and they have come back from there.
Yeah.
Um,
And she's also like such a, in a way, heart of the Guardians team, where she like even
she's
though
the only one who's never annoying.
well, she's also the one who like Quill is like the main character, but she's like the secondary main character. But he'll be like, we're gonna charge people for this, and then she'll be like, no.
Yeah.
And then that's she's his love interest, but I think she's also
kind
his
of a
conscious
moral
and a
Balances
moral.
him out.
Yeah. So I think
Yeah, and I mean, so like again, having read all these stories recently, they fight Thanos a couple times. The first time he goes for the Cosmic Cube or the Tesseract, right? And Captain Marvel beats him because he lets him get a hold of the Cosmic Cube, and Captain Marvel breaks it. The second time, he's using the Soul Stone. He doesn't realize there's a whole bunch of them, and to try and destroy Earth. And Infinity, Adam Warlock, who they've hinted at in the next second Guardians of the Galaxy, is stuck in the Soul Stone. He comes out of it for a moment and turns Thanos to stone somehow. I don't know how. So I'm thinking that there's going to be a combination of Captain Marvel obviously tipping the balance, Gamora coming out of the Soul Stone, but also every time they defeat him because of his self-doubt, and obviously he's got a lot of self-doubt because of what he did to Gamora. But in the Infinity Gauntlet, it's actually Nebula that defeats him. She takes, after she's been tortured by him, which she did, she takes the gauntlet, and then she undoes everything, and then they've got to defeat Nebula. So I'm thinking that her arc requires some kind of justification for her still being there, right? Like, so she has been tortured by Thanos, she's still around. I assume at some point she's going to have some kind of important thing too. So there's going to be some combination of sending off the OG Avengers, setting up the new Avengers, Captain Marvel tipping the balance, Thanos' sort of self-doubt defeating him, Gamora coming out of the Soul Stone, and Nebula doing something. Because obviously Doctor Strange let him have the Time Stone after saying he would never let him have the Time Stone. Because he looked into the future, saw this as the only way to defeat him, and let it happen, right? So that's my sort of full theory of what Avengers 4 is going to be like.
I'm gonna cast out my prediction, at least for the end part of it. We know this movie is coming out next summer. Is there an official release date?
That'd be May something.
All right.
Yeah, it's
Usually
usually
the same time.
Or if they end up pushing it back, like, or potentially.
Well, it's filmed already, isn't it?
They already shot.
No, but hear me out. If it's because we've got that Fox Disney merger coming up, I'm expecting almost like multiple post credits because they've said they're going more into the cosmic side of things. I think we're gonna get stuff in universe where they mentioned in this one like Thanos took the Power Stone from Nova, so I think they're gonna introduce Nova.
Yeah.
But also, it wouldn't surprise me if the deal is official and things have gone through. By that point, if to set up like the next phase, we're gonna get a hint at Galactus, either through the character of Silver Surfer showing up in the post credits, or Galactus himself, or as a potential alternate one, because in this movie you could get stuff where it's like reality altering or whatever if you get a shot of the Xavier School, or even like the Wolverine claws or something, because once that deal goes through, they're going to bring these characters in.
Hopefully they wait a while to bring Wolverine into it. Like,
no,
you can do
but
the X-Men without Wolverine.
You can, but it's like, I agree. Like, that's been an ongoing criticism I think all three of us have had of the X-Men movies. Yeah. But like, that's an iconic shot.
Yeah, but also out of respect for Hugh Jackman, who finally like laid down the claws or whatever.
I agree, but it's just one of those things where if the deal's gone through at that point, you're gonna have the most eyes on your product out of any movie in that one. So I think if they're gonna be like, we want to sell you on upcoming stuff, here we're gonna show you Surfer and Galactus. We're gonna show you X-Men, like they are coming in, we're bringing them in.
They're gonna have a teaser of the Silver Surfer going to Galactus and saying, "I found a planet of Earth," and it'll be just Galactus looking over his shoulder and smiling. Just exactly like
Wait a second, I've seen this one before.
That would be a good way to do it. That'd be a good way to do it.
After the merger, if they're going to start introducing anyone, they're going to start with Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
right.
My hope and dream is that they introduce instead of just saying, "Hey, Fantastic Four movie," they have Doctor Doom as a bad guy for Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
As like a beginning to that. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, because just pepper the characters.
Well, and they've never addressed, like, in any of the movies, that Doctor Strange is a sorcerer, so he'd be a great villain.
They never addressed that Doctor Strange is cool, or Doctor Doom is cool.
Doom. Yeah, Doctor Doom. No.
I would love to see the Human Torch show up in a Spider-Man movie because they're friends, right? Like they're both teenagers and they have a great interplay in the comics.
Yeah, I'd also love it just so they could do a thing of like, where have these characters been? Instead of just introducing them and going the Ultimates route, you could do almost an Ant-Man thing where, like, they explained how Hank Pym had been Ant-Man and did it, where it's like they've been trapped somewhere, not in space, but possibly in an alternate dimension. But they're still very much like they're 60s characters where they're family friendly and all that jazz. Because Ultimate Fantastic Four did not work in Fanforstic or however. Yeah.
Did you, Mike? Did you have any theories about the Avengers?
Yeah.
Well, I've seen set photos, so I kind of have ideas, but I really don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I know they're going to go back to New York back in time, or somehow, or through an illusion, or not an illusion, the barf thing that Tony did in Civil War.
Barf thing? Oh yeah.
He didn't actually barf.
No,
it's called
barf. Yeah, where they de-aged him at the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
The simulation. They're going to go back to the Battle of New York for some reason.
Oh, I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, but otherwise, I have no idea. I mean, I know, and I guess I'm hoping, but they're going to have just that one big shot of everyone ready to take on Thanos. Yeah. Where you get chills and the music builds.
Yeah.
And then it's on. And then Thanos just fights all of them. And he's winning for a little while. That'd be great. I want a full... What is that?
That is Luna.
That was Chris. That was definitely not
just like a full-on fight.
Yeah.
Just before we sign off, I'm just curious about who do you guys think is going to take up the mantle as the next movie heads out? Because as much as
mantle of what?
Captain America, just because I think all of us are kind of like, Evans is gone, but we don't want him to be.
Don't want him to be.
Yeah,
I really loved his like seriousness of I am Steve Rogers. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. That was a great part.
Who do you think is between Falcon and Bucky? Who do you think is going to end up?
Bucky's going to do it because he's been on the path already.
Yeah.
I think it makes more sense for Bucky to do it, and I think that comics run by Ed Brubaker is amazing. I think that I wouldn't rule Falcon out just because of he is currently Captain America in the comics, and there's been sort of that political climate that have more prominent people of color, and really the black characters, and besides Black Panther, have been very secondary in all the Avengers movies. So I think Bucky makes more sense though.
Yeah. I'd love if they could figure out a way where it's almost like both somehow, in the sense of...
Well, it's funny because they hate each other, right?
Yeah.
So,
they've got that bromance hatred kind of thing where it's like, all right, we're best friends with the same guy and we tolerate each other, but I hate you. But, like, I'd love it if you could figure out almost like a Secret Avengers. I want a Secret Avengers show somehow going forward, or a movie, where Steve Rogers, when it was like, he did the Secret Avengers, he's like, I'm U.S. agent. I'm not.
I think he just called himself Steve, didn't he?
It's something like that. Or you got one of my favorite panels out of it was Moon Knight and Steve talking. It's like Sky Captain to I can't remember. Dang it! But it was
a good reference though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I sold it greatly. To Crescent Wrench or something.
Well, that was like their call signs or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then you could do that where it's like
folks.
if you've got a Black Ops. If you've got a Black Ops Avengers team, like I think Bucky fits that role better. But I want.
Yeah, he'd make a good they're talking about doing a Black Widow movie, so he'd make an interesting character in that too.
Yeah.
Even if they do like in the past one, he could be like a villain in the background.
Yeah.
Too. But anyway.
All right, so
well, we're rambling and your dog's awake, so it's time to stop.
All right, so on that note, go see Avengers if you haven't seen it yet.
You've probably seen it already.
And
if you haven't,
if you're listening to this,
what are you doing with your life? Are you so busy that you can't get out for 2.5 hours and see Avengers?
You just spent an hour listening to us.
Although I had a volunteer at my work say he's deliberately read all the spoilers and read reviews before going to see Avengers.
What's the point of that?
Because he hated Black Panther so much, which he was Black Panther, yes, got a lot of praise, and I'm not on that bit where I'm like, I'd give it 6 or whatever.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, but
I thought it was good.
He actively hated the movie, and he was like, I was so disappointed by it that I didn't want to go into another Marvel movie like that. So apparently there are some of those people. So look, if you've sat through all this, just go see the movie. It's fantastic.
You're not going to be surprised by anything now, but
it's still got.
I even told you the jokes.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to seeing it again, and it's got that emotional weight. So, listener, thanks for listening. What did you think of the movie? Let us know in the comments. Also, please share and subscribe. Have a wonderful day, and God bless, my friends. Take care.
Peace.
Bye.